Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. 16 drivers, a 1,200-metre circuit, a 3x2 starting lineup. It is going to be, ignore that on the screen, that is not correct. It is James Glenister, Miles Murphy and Morgan Porter on row number 1. On row number 2, it'll be Charlie Turner, the defending champion, and Tom Adams. Row 3 will be Josh Price, Charlie Cole and Dan McEwen. On row 4, it'll be Nat Thomas and Ashley Lewis. Row 5, Lee Ward and the driver that led the championship coming into this weekend, Ella Stevens, with last round winner Ryan Green on the outside. Row number 6 will be Sam Ward and Hannah Lang, and Derek Morgan will start on row number 7. So what do? You get the fastest karts here, and instead of putting them 2 wide on the grid, you put them 3 wide. That's the way we like it. Now there is Sam Ward,
not looking too healthy.
He retired from the pre-final, and he is, not looking too clever at the start of this with a Rush Performance kart. At the moment, coming into this race, Morgan Porter has taken the championship lead. So Morgan Porter, 468 points. Tom Adams, 466. Ella Stevens, 464. Charlie Turner, 460. Miles Murphy, 459. Dan McEwen, 450. 18 points cover the top 6 drivers in the championship. James Glenister is 8th, but on dropped scores, and I'll have to go double check what the drop score situation in terms of this. This is a 4-round championship, John. Only one more round after this one. It's at Wera in Cumbria. So this final is extremely important. This could make or break a Drivers' Championship challenge. I'm not saying anyone's going to be eliminated from the championship of those top 6 if they have a retirement here, but it just means they are effectively looking to a mountain to climb. There we go. There's the front 3. Porter, Glenister, Murphy and Porter. Glenister on the left, Murphy in the centre, and Porter on the outside. Your championship leader, Morgan Porter. So Ella Stevens, who's led the championship to the halfway point of the season, now she has been the pursued, now she has to be the pursuer.
Indeed, let's see what she can do from down there in the middle of the pack. Maybe somewhere she's not so used to being from earlier results in the season. But I'm so excited. I always am for KZ2s. The engine notes rise. They look for the lights. And we wait for them to go racing. And here they go. The number 7 tries to chop across immediately and does so. So Miles Murphy steals away the lead already through the first couple of corners. They're all keeping it in this right direction as we funnel through the left-hander, and they've all made it through. A big slide in the background there as they now shoot past the usual hairpin that we're used to, all the way down to the end at Bryant's hairpin. Let's see who makes it through. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, Charlie Turner's on the grass going up runway straight. You just saw him very briefly. The kart snaking sideways. He managed to hold on to it. So it's Miles Murphy, the driver that works with Demon Tweaks and designs the crash helmets for multiple current Formula 1 IndyCar drivers in GP2 and GP3. And if you watch the paddock show, if he wins a race, if he wins a final, he's got to give his crash helmet to Luke at Moore Racing.
Morgan Porter's nicked 2nd place there, Round Cafe. He's gone down the inside of James Glenister.
Well, to Tom Moore and the owner at Moore Racing. It's a Moore Racing 1-2 at the moment. Glenister is 3rd, and that's Josh Price. Wow. Josh Price in the 3rd Moore Racing kart is up into 4th position. So the Moore Racing team, they haven't come to play. They've come to win today.
For a 1-2-3.
Yeah, they are indeed. Said by Sam Moore.
Look how squirrely Miles Murphy is. I mean, a lot of the drivers are through that flat-out right-hander because it is still flat-out in these, but you are absolutely on the edge of grip in these KZ2s. Look at this battle going into the first corner. Tries it down the inside. Does Charlie Cole. Just couldn't quite find the gap.
Yeah, Tom Adams giving Charlie Cole short shrift there. Now, Murphy, Porter, Glenister, then Price. I've got to say, it gives me great, great pleasure to see Josh Price driving so well. Was a champion in direct drive karts, moved to car racing, made it all the way to the British Touring Car Championship. There's a move. Oh my word! I know. collective wincing in the commentary box. Went to the British Touring Car Championship, didn't get a fair crack of the whip. I think felt a bit jaded. Has come back to his original love, karting, and he's had ups and downs, but he's really showing, you know, the talent that he has finally in his return to karting. But Morgan Porter, the 2020 Senior Rotax British karting champion, is now beginning to say, oh, hi Miles, remember me? I sit next to you in the Moors racing tent, and now I'm alongside you, and now I'm in the lead. Oh, and he's squirrely under braking. He misses the apex, and 2 wide side by side, but he gets the power down. Murphy checking over his shoulder, and he just stays second. Well, Morgan Porter stays in the lead, but look who's come to play. James Glenister and Josh Price. Top 4 are clear with Adams, Cole, Turner, Lewis, McEwen and Morgan next. Then it's Ward, Stevens, Ella Stevens down to 12th with Ryan Green, Nat Thomas and Hannah Lang up next.
Yeah, Morgan Porter was just able to get that car in a straight line before Miles Murphy wasn't he? Out of Brian's corner. And that's often the case with these. You can see, someone makes a mistake, you try and get it up there inside, but to get the power down, if you've still got a little bit of steering lock on, it just wants to spin on you. So getting it in a straight line is imperative to get those good exits and get those moves done. But it was a great move to take the lead from Morgan Porter, and he's already starting to build a gap now.
Yeah, you can see the drivers changing gears. You can see with their right hand, and they're changing gears through the Bruno chicane. And now, you say they're getting squirrely under braking. Sometimes it's because they've got one hand on the steering wheel.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? I remember we were chatting, I think it was on the paddock show at GYG about that, about doing almost sort of 60-70% of the lap with one hand on the steering wheel because you're just constantly changing gear, up, down, up, down, up, down. Yes. To race like that is insane. I mean, I've done one go in a senior Rotax and my arms were dead, and I was using both of them.
Yeah, exactly.
So how they're doing all this racing with one hand, astonishing, honestly astonishing.
So in the pre-final, we saw the number 4 car, Morgan Porter. Oh, there's a move. It's now okay. More racing. Take a picture. It's a more racing. 1, 2, 3. Morgan Porter, Miles Murphy, and Josh Price. Hold your breath. 10.5 minutes. 10.5 minutes. James Glenister and Charlie Cole, the lap record holder here in KZ2 at Shenington, set that lap record in May this year.
Yes.
He's looking really, really strong as well. Looking at Charlie, he's got 1 second place finish. That came at Rissington last year, and that's it. So Morgan Porter fast lap of the race. In the pre-final, we saw Morgan sort of back out of it a little bit. He sort of, I said, saving tyres, because Morgan Porter was on course to win a Gladys course, ran out of tyres. So he sort of sacrificed the win almost a little bit. Finished third. He said, that's still a front row start, you know. And now maybe that little bit of... And it's all about race management. It's and over the course of a race weekend, you've got 1 set of slick tyres. Morgan Porter, you know, sort of came a cropper on the system in terms of that at Glenagore. So he's now thinking about it. Okay, I'm going to manage the tyres. Same for everybody. Everyone's got the same rubber. There's no advantage or disadvantage. You know, really, we've got the same rubber. And of course, you know, he's leading the championship. In fact, now, shall we have a look at the current... We won't have a look, but I can tell you that...
You got a quick answer there.
I'm thinking out loud. But shall we? No. In fact, because... And do you know why? Because Josh Price just taken second place. That's why.
He just stole the fastest lap. Now he steals second position. He's clearly, got some pace in that car. Got some pace in himself as Josh Price. And now focusing forward to Morgan Porter. That gap, it looks so massive because they're going so quickly, but it's only 6-7 tenths of a second between the front two. And Josh Price... Don't look behind you, my friend. You've got a lot of karters right there waiting to pick up those positions if you make the slightest mistake.
44.53 seconds for Josh Price. Very impressive indeed. Porter is clear. Now Price sets off after his teammate. I have to say, Miles Murphy was starting to look like a little bit like a cork in the bottle. They are queuing up behind. If Josh Price now begins to pull away, because Porter is gone, Porter has pulled away. If Price now begins to pull away from Miles Murphy, you get the impression that the kart, and he missed the apex going into Bruno chicane there, did number 7 Miles Murphy. He started to look over his shoulder. So as we approach half distance, maybe, just maybe, he needs that sort of, you know, that Morgan Porter style breather. Let the tyres cool ever so slightly, and then, you know, because they are, you know, the tyres are critical. We spoke to Mark Brookman in the paddock show, Hannah Lang's sort of mechanic, the team boss of MK Races, saying it's pressures are so critical on these tyres, you know, so yeah, let them rest, you know, they go through another heat cycle and sort of, you know, then give it another go later on. Now, sorry.
So I was just going to say, when I chatted to Ryan Green in his interview, he was talking about the tyres a lot as well, and also how it depends on how you set up the car. So he keeps the rear axle quite solid, so it means that the rear doesn't slide too much. So he gets a lot of use out of the rear tyres, but then that puts so much pressure on the front tyres that they go off really quickly. So it also can depend on how the drivers have the set up as to which the front of the rears start to go off first.
So I can tell you, Morgan Porter currently leads the championship by 8 points over Tom Adams. 533 points to Porter, 525 for Adams. Miles Murphy up into third of the championship on 519. Ella Stevens has slipped to fourth on 517. Charlie Turner, 516. Dan McEwen, 504. Josh Price now up to seventh on 499. So 34 points separates the top 7 drivers as Hannah Lang brings the number 91 MK racing kart, that Formula K chassis, into the pits to sadly retire. But it's Porter, 0.6 of a second in front of Price. Murphy holding off Tom Adams for third position.
Saw on the timing on the left-hand side of your screen, Ella Stevens got through on Dan McEwen on that last lap, and Lee Ward through on Derek Morgan as well. So chopping and changing at the lower end of the top 10 also. As you can see, we saw in the last race how much the field spread out over the race. In these KZ2s, barely anything at all. 14 of the 15 karts still within 10 seconds of each other. So all still basically in one big pack. And that means you've got to be thinking, not only looking ahead, but also keeping an idea of what's going on behind you as well, which is just so difficult, so complex, when already you're having to think about 1,000 things just to drive the kart, let alone actually race it.
Absolutely. Murphy and Adams fighting over third place. And of course, if you get a 5-second penalty, that's a much bigger penalty because the race is so close. There's now a bit further back there, you can see Lee Ward in 11th position. Privateer entry, Lee Ward. Ella Stevens, and I have to say Charlie Cole, his advantage. Yes, John?
You speak of 5-second penalties. The number 7, Miles Murphy, has a 5-second penalty.
Oh, no. Was that possibly a jump start?
Maybe.
He did take the lead going into turn number 1. I can't see anything, so you, Eagle-Eye John Ratcliffe has spotted that. It was
near the start of the race, I think, so you might be right.
Yes, a 5-second. Oh, no, the Moore Racing top 3. The podium lockout will have to wait.
So that drops him outside of the top 10.
It'll drop him outside the top 10. Also, it'll drop him out of third place in the championship standings. And, you know, Ian Rogers, Motorsport Timing, they've got Olympic Games style sort of photocell technology and sensors on the karts or in the transponders that to judge a jump start. And obviously, I'm assuming, because there's been no contact, no issues. The racing has been absolutely clean, perfect. All, you know, amongst the leaders that we've been seeing. So it must have been a jump start. But now, Miles Murphy, of course, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place now. The more he defends third place on the road, the bigger the pack behind him gets, the more places he will lose when that 5-second penalty is applied.
Indeed, yeah, it's a really difficult decision to have to make now, and he is under a lot of pressure from Tom Adams being behind him. So he's really got to think about that. There might be a move.
Adams makes the move.
Oh, nearly rubbing on the exit.
Into Brian's bend there. And now Murphy under pressure. Now here comes Glenister. Glenister committing and then backing out of it at the last minute with Cole in 6th and Turner in 7th. Charlie Turner's championship defence needs a boost. It needs Charlie Turner in the number 1 place kart to pick up a few positions. You know, at the moment, a 7th place finish, it's not going to eliminate him from the championship, far from it. It will make things very difficult going to Rowra. So Turner needs to turn up the wick, maybe to 11. That's a Spinal Tap reference, ladies and gentlemen.
Another move.
And Glenister has finally got through. So Glenister, 6 wins to his name in the British Championship, and now Murphy is you get knocked out of your rhythm. You sort of, you get a move, you get out of your rhythm, and it's all about rhythm. KZ2 karting, it's about rhythm every single lap, about rhythm. You get forced offline, or you move offline, you lose the position, you get out of that rhythm, and because the pack is so tightly matched, you know, it's easy to lose. The back end of that kart is stepping out as well.
Really sliding,
I'm thinking maybe that sort of the setup is going away on that kart a little bit, because the rear end does look quite lively. Miles Murphy rear end is looking quite lively, and there is a move, and that was Charlie Cole. Charlie Cole going up the inside and backing out of it, half spin, and Cole will get going again. There is Murphy. Murphy is he's had to hunker down, and he's battened down the hatches, and there is, you know, attacks coming from all sides, and Charlie Cole out of the race. It does well. Now Charlie Turner's got to get past Miles Murphy on track. That will put Charlie Turner up into 5th position. But 2 minutes to go, John. Morgan Porter, 0.7 of a second in front of his teammate. Now let's have a little look. Here comes Turner on Murphy. Not this time, but here we go. Here's a look at the race leader, John.
Indeed, I noticed as well with Charlie Cole, he was up into 9th place in the championship with the points he was getting from that race, but after getting knocked out there, he's dropped back out of the top 10 of the championship, so gutting for Charlie. Of course, we'll have to wait and see for all that to be confirmed once the race is over. We look back to these battles at the front. Josh Price has been ever so slightly closing in lap on lap. Only a minute and a half left to go in this one. He's not got much chance.
That was Lee Ward. Lick the stamp and send it. Lee Ward. Well, Lee Ward, all the way from Ireland, the privateer driver. They could probably hear the squealing of the brakes in Ireland. What a move we just caught there from Lee Ward. That will make a highlight reel of the season, I'm sure. Just the sheer velocity of the kart sweeping across the road. Great stuff. And that was for 9th place for Lee Ward.
Does that man have no fear?
That man,
goodness.
He's got no fear, but he's got very large something else, I'll tell you that. Morgan Porter, the gap back up to 0.7 of a second, 50 seconds to go. It was down to 0.6.
Yeah.
I wonder. George Price, I wonder. Is he going to have a little go? Is he going to have a go? It's a More Racing 1-2 at the front of this field at the moment. And it looks as though it's going to stay that way. The order of the two drivers is still to be decided. 30 seconds to go.
Miles Murphy's just dropped a couple more places, down into 8th on that last lap. Ella Stevens, however, having a great race, up 6 positions to 6th place now.
And that has put her back into P3 in the championship. Ella Stevens, and it's now Morgan Porter, 533 points. Tom Adams, 526. Tom, again, he's only just turned 18 years old. Ella Stevens, the youngest driver in the class, just 16 years old. She is third on 521 points. And it's Charlie Turner, 518. Miles Murphy, 514.
Our clock had ticked to 0, but the gantry clock was on 1 second when Morgan Porter crossed the line.
Yep, not the last lap yet.
No, 2 more laps to go then. Morgan Porter was checking his shoulder on the last straight, now checks it again going down toward Bryant's Bend. Just managing that gap back to Josh Price. He's doing a really good job of it, keeping it around 6, 7, 8 of a second. He's doing a really good job, but back behind them is Tom Adams and James Gunnister, who are pretty close together. I think James Gunnister still with that fastest lap, and now pressuring Tom Adams for that final spot on the podium. And
I'm just going to have a little look. More Racing. They've been in the paddock. Tom Moore, the team owner, they've been in the paddock for quite some time. They have never won a race in the modern era of the British Championship.
Wow.
Now we're on. They've had a 2nd place finish, and they've had 2 3rd place finishes of More Racing. We love going into their tent. Tom Moore, Tom's son Luke, he helped us a lot, you know, did a bit of the paddock show with us last night. He did. And there's a driver off the side of the circuit. Is that Derek Morgan? I think we may have gone off, or is that Ryan Green? We'll have to, that could be Ryan Green. But through the Bruno chicane, out onto the Hanger Straight. This could be a little bit of history for the More Racing Collective, because Morgan Porter and Josh Price come out of the final corner. The checkered flag waves, a 1-2 finish for More Racing, a 2nd career Wera Tools British Championship win for Morgan Porter, and the lead of the championship. James Glenister comes home in 4th position, just behind Tom Adams. So Tom Adams completes the podium, and that will put Tom 2nd in points going into the final round of the season. Glenister 4th, Turner in 5th Ella Stevens, not out of the championship by a long way. She finishes in 6th position. A great drive for Ashley Lewis in 7th. Miles Murphy drops to 8th, and that'll be even more when even further back when he gets his penalty applied. Lee Ward, privateer driver, top privateer, finishing in 9th place on the road. Dan McEwen is 10th. Derek Morgan in 11th. 12th for Nat Thomas. Ryan Green is 13th. Charlie Cole out of the race, so was Hannah Lang and Sam Ward. But well done to Morgan Porter, Josh Price, and all at Moore Racing.
Yeah, we've had 3 very different finals so far, haven't we? Or 4 very different finals, I should say. But they've all been absolutely fantastic in their own way. Bit sad to see that that's the last time we're going to see the extended circuit here at Shenington for today anyway.
I'm a bit sad. That's the last time I'm going to see KZ2 because I'm not at Wera. I'm elsewhere that weekend, so it's going to be you and Mr. Jordan holding the fort.
Should be very interesting. I'm very excited to see them again, but yeah. Got it for you, sir. Those KZ2s are just another thing. If you're, as you said earlier, to coming down to watching the Banbury area, if you're ever close to any British kart champs karting to watch KZ2s, come down and watch them. They are incredible. But Lucy Derrick is down in the pit lane, ready to speak to our top 3.
Brilliant. What a race. I'm joined by P1, Morgan Porter. How was that for you?
It was intense, definitely a long race around here. It's physical with the hard braking zones, and yeah, no, I won. What can I say?
With that being the penultimate round of your championship, what do you think gave you the edge out there today?
Today, I think the kart was, I think we just toned it in. We struggled a little bit on Friday. That was the only dry running we had, obviously, Saturday being very wet. We just toned it in a little bit Friday, figured where we were this morning in the pre-final, and it was just on fire. The first like 6-7 laps, we managed to carve our way through, get that gap and sort of maintain it.
Brilliant. Am I right in thinking it was a P1, P2 for Moore Racing? A great result for the team?
Sure was. It was a shame Miles couldn't hang on. He drove great all weekend and definitely put it to me in the pre-final as well. So it was a shame that he can stay up there with us, but I think he definitely helped the team out in this round.
Yeah, it was definitely a brilliant race. Is there anyone you want to thank at all?
Just mainly want to thank my dad. He's obviously my main sponsor, I would say. And then Tom and Sam Moore. They do a great job here with the engines and everything like that, preparation, kart. Yeah, we just got it down to a T.
Brilliant. It was lovely to chat to you. Great race.
Thank you very much.
Josh Price, P2. Come on down. What a race. So a lot of changing conditions over the weekend. How do you think that affected your race today?
Not a lot really, other than my overalls are a lot drier and my feet aren't wet. But no, it was good. Today's been dry all day, so I think we were looking forward to a wet race rather than a sort of like a dry Sunday. But it's actually played off really well for us. So thanks to all the team and Kart Republic and Glee for Engines. But no, it's been a good day for us.
Any highlights from that race for you at all?
To be honest, I can't really remember a lot of it. You know, it's 15 minutes. It's so long when you're in there. Sort of, I can't really remember who overtook who and when it happened, but it's just the overall result is more than enough.
It was all a bit of a rush, wasn't it? And then suddenly you're in P2, so what a result for you. It's brilliant to chat to you.
Thank you.
Cool. Tom Adams, have you got a... There we go, come on down. Brilliant. P3, how was that?
Yeah, obviously after quali it's a bit of a disappointing result, but P3, good points for the championship. Can't really complain, really, so yeah.
So any highlights for you from that race at all? It was kind of at the start it was kind of a change for the lead for a bit and then you kind of settled into it.
Yeah, I think I got up to 4th on the first lap. It was everyone's sending moves in on each other, so by the time I got into 3rd I couldn't really, there wasn't enough time, or I didn't really have the pace to be able to catch the front 2 guys.
So penultimate round of the championship, has that kind of affected your standing in the championship, do you think? Where were you standing before you kind of came into this?
Before I came into this I was 2nd, but drop scores changes everything, so I'm not sure where we will lie for next weekend when the next round at Wera.
All the best for the final round. Is there anyone you want to thank?
All of Rush Performance, my family, Alan for mechanicking me, and yeah, everyone for supporting me at home.
Brilliant. Great job out there today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Back to the comms box.
Thank you very much, Lucy. Oh, there is a look at that. We waited all weekend and we have blue, sunny skies. Ladies and gentlemen, we now get the podium presentation for KZ2 underway here at Shenington. It's their third of 4 rounds, so the penultimate round of the championship. It was an excellent race indeed, finishing in third position. He now takes over second place in the championship for Rush Performances, Tom Adams. Now, Tom, this is Tom's first podium, I believe, as an 18-year-old, so we can legally celebrate it with a pint later on. But a special result for a very special team, finishing in second position. It's his first Wera Tools British Championship podium since he's returned to kart racing. For more racing, Josh Price. But we're not done yet with more racing. After several years in the championship, they finally take their first official win in the modern era of the Wera Tools British Kart Championship, leading home a More Racing 1-2, your new KZ2 Championship leader, Morgan Porter, and winning mechanic, Gareth Porter. Get down there, mechanic, come on. Star of the show, let them. Yeah, error. Yeah, there we go. Only one you made, it's fine. So the official photographs are taken. 1 round to go, the final round of the championship. I believe there's still 5 or 6 drivers in with a real chance of the title. We'll be at Wera in September. Your KZ2 podium, ladies and gentlemen. Junior.